So today we will be seeing OOPS concepts. So before that, let me share my screen. So till now, what we have done or coded is called as procedural type of coding. So it's like it executes step by step, and there is I meant to say procedural in the sense it executes step by step after line. But there is disadvantages with the procedure programming where if you want to run multiple things at a time. So for example, so if a bank, uh, let's take a bank. So there will be multiple customers, maybe thousands, lakhs, or customers. So they want to deposit something, right? So it's like they want to deposit money and withdraw money. Just for example, I am saying. So if you write the procedure language, then it will be so yeah. So if you write that logic in the procedure language, like for example, defining a function called withdraw and a function called deposit, and then if you want to call that functions multiple times, you you have to call it in a for loop or something. So at that time, there might be a syncing, like a syncing issues, or so the function can be interlocked with another call if you are doing multi-processing where the same function. So it's not very effective that procedural procedures for a very large scale applications. So here what we did for that, so we call there is another concept called object oriented programming, uh, where we call it as normal OOPS concepts, like object oriented programming concepts in Python. So it's not in Python, but in everywhere, in every language there will be object oriented programming. So even Java, if you take, even in .NET, C Sharp, there will be the same concepts will be used. So let's take that. So it's like OOP stands for object oriented programming standards. Mm. So here just a definition. So paradigm organized software and objects around that functions and procedures. So instead of functions and procedures, we will be coding in that uh, in the terms of objects. We call it as you can create a real world scenarios maybe. I meant to say real world scenarios we will check. So when we create an object, for example, so it will have the access to the data uh, for that class, we can say, and the same methods can be called like behavior. So instead of definition, let's go to practical. So here generally this is a class. So in Python we directly define class with a class keyword only. So here the class name is bank account. So just we are taking a bank account class name. So here generally we use a def keyword for functions, right? But if we use the def keyword inside a class, then it is actually we are creating a methods. So here the init method is called constructor method, where for every when we call any object, it will call at first. So this is called constructor method, and after constructor method we are defining another deposit method. So here we have defined the attributes, the properties. We call it as name. So generally our account should have name and corresponding balance we are defining for simple example. So using the same we are defining another function. So not function, method, we call it as method. So but the syntax is similar, like here the self keyword is referring to, oh, so generally we define self keyword because we will refer inside the class all the parameters or I meant to say this variables we refer with the self keyword only. So here balance, like here we are using increment, like increment operator. So it's like again it will add and it will add to the balance whatever it is there. So here we withdraw, like if amount is less than, so yeah, because if someone want to withdraw amount but the balance is less than or equal to this balance amount, so then we will ask them, but if they want to withdraw more then we will say insufficient funds. So now there is another method defined, we call it as self. So when we go back to the theoretical explanation, so generally here it's a powerful way to structure code because it can make more modular, reusable and maintainable. So generally we defined a class and the functions inside that. So methods, I call it as methods. So generally these instead of procedural programming we use object-oriented programming for large and complex applications. So it is easy to create objects of that particular class. So generally in OOPS concepts there will be this many key concepts like class, objects, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. So here I have given one definition. In today's class we will see only like classes and objects. So we go back, so here, so this is the blueprint. So it's like for any user, so in bank account for any user will have the access, like so if you go to bank you can deposit, you can withdraw and you can check the balance. So any net banking application will have all these three features, right? So instead of withdraw you can say send money to other account. So this is the blueprint. So whatever the account number, so maybe in a bank they may have thousands or lakhs of customers, but for everyone they will have all the facilities, like all the functionalities, we call it as. So how the functionality is like, so deposit is one of the functionality, withdraw is one of the functionality and get balance is one of the functionality. So this blueprint doesn't change. So it will be similar for any number of customers, any number of things. So but if you want to write it for uh, different functions like in procedural way, it is very difficult to rewrite again and again. I meant to say we can write, but uh, so if you want to call I meant to in a multi-processing way. So for example, there are 10 customers accessing to deposit the same amount. So like a deposit functionality, they want to deposit functionality at the same time, maybe 100 customers. So if you write the procedural way, so you have to loop it one by one, right? And even if you use the this functionality like multi-processing functionality of calling deposit function, so still it will be very slow because it's there might be a chance of interlocking. So to avoid that all the confusions, so here what we will be doing, we will be creating an object. So for this bank account I am creating one object. So I am naming it as account 1, class name. So how we are creating class name and the attributes related to that. So here the name will be Joe and we are creating balance 1000. So it's like you can refer to as opening of an account. So here he has created, so we have created one object, so that will have all the functionalities available to this user. Similarly again in the account 2 also we will have the same all the functionalities available to the second user also, like is John Doe will have the functionalities of all deposit, withdraw and get balance, and even this JN will also having all the functionalities available to this. So here there is no chance of interlocking. So because we have created two objects, and if you want to process at the same time, those are different objects, not related to only one procedure. So there are two different objects we have created, but the so it's like object is called instance of a class. So it's like it will have all the functionalities of the class. So like deposit, withdraw and get balance. Even account to holder will also have the same functionalities. But inside the attributes will change. So the John will having only like 1000 balance at the opening of account, and the Jane will have only 500 at the opening of account. So it's like creating of object you can refer to as opening of a new account in a bank. So the bank account class will be similar. So and when I go back, so it's like object is instance of class, it has attributes and methods defined in the class. So now this is the same what I have written, just I have kept it here. So for example, now the explanation is like is the blueprint of our creating a bank account objects. So so generally the constructor method is the first method which will be called when an object is created. So that's why, so when an object is created, the most important the name and what is the balance they are depositing in this example, what the in the example what we have written. So whenever we create an object, so this is the constructor method, the first method which will call directly. There is no need of calling again. So it will refer to this method and it will store it. Like so in the name variable it will store a name as John, and in balance variable it will store as balance. So here we can call multiple methods after that. So now here in the account 1, so now we are calling account 1 dot deposit. So now here we are not passing any variable if you observe. So we have created one object and we have passed the arguments already. Now so account 1 what it will refer, it will refer to this arguments, and then it will call the functionality, we can call it as deposit. So we are calling deposit. So in this deposit what we are doing, we have to add balance, what is the amount we are referring. So then what it will do, it will, so for example this is 1000, so now 1000 plus 500, so it will become 1500. Similarly in account 2, So the account to want to withdraw, the account to means Jane want to withdraw 200. So when we are calling this withdraw method, so we can call it as functionality. So it will check first if the balance amount. So balance is like in those account 500 and the amount they want to withdraw is 200. So 200 is less than 500. So okay, they will decrement. So we are using decrement operator. So balance minus the 500 minus 200, 300 will be saved. So if user has given 600, then it will go to this insufficient funds. And again, so this is so we are not printing anything here. So now user want to check the balance again. So the account one user after depositing how much balance he want to check. So similarly the account two user how much balance he want to check. So when we run the program, so generally it's 1500 and 300 the balance after depositing and withdrawing. So for example, if I give 600 because I am, let's see what it will do. So it is printing insufficient funds. So because I'm trying to withdraw 600 but my balance is 500 only. So it's saying insufficient funds. So there is no withdrawal happened. So whatever the my original balance it will remain as 500. So here the again detailed explanation we have given. So we create two bank account objects. So account 1 and account 2. So and then we are calling the methods like deposit and finally call the get balance method to say the balance of each object. So what exactly benefits? So generally in OOPS concepts we can actually divide the complex problems into multiple classes and we can access multiple all the functionalities in different classes and we can actually inherit a few classes. It's very the code will be very reduced and it's very like interlocking won't be happen and it will be objects will be very fast. So reusability and maintainability. So yeah, so we can actually scale object-oriented programming to very fastly we can scale. So today, so we start with well this base concepts. So tomorrow we will check encapsulation with the different examples. How with the coding examples. So again, if we go back, what exactly encapsulation is like? So it's like hiding the data from being accidentally modified or corrupted. So it's like defining private. Uh, I meant to say like so they can't be modified or corrupted. So it's like defining private in Java. So similar kind of thing we can do it in the Python using encapsulation. So it's like we can change the data, but it cannot be modified accidentally. Like so, it's like strictly prohibited. So that's the syntax will be little bit different for accessing that variable or the operator. I mean the argument we can select balance. Tomorrow we will see. And again, the inheritance is like we can if we inherit some class from A to B. So for example, like we have defined class bank account. Now maybe we can define another class that will multiple functionalities, like maybe a class loan. So in for example, we are defining another class loan, and then we will be checking the some user uh, this credit score. So we will define method like define uh, like method check credit score. But again in the loan also loan method also, if user want to have the same account, right, so it's like if we inherit, so we can access the same account number. So it's like using of the same functionalities instead of rewriting again, we just inherit so that we can use the uh, uh, the functionality. So you don't need to write again, for example. So even in loan account, if you want to display the balance, you can directly use that like method, we call it as functionality, like check balance. You can directly class A inherit class B. Some, for example, we have written like that. So it the class B can use all the methods which are in the class C. So it's like again polymorphism is as another concept, we call it as like, so we can define the same method but the like with the same name, different methods with the same name. So for example, calculation of area or uh, area, for example calculation of area, but the shape format will be different. Like for example, the circle will have different formula for area. For square it will be different formula. For cylinder it will be different formula. So it's like the implementations will be varied, but the same method we can say like calculate area. So tomorrow we will see in detail like encapsulation inheritors with the code. So today it will be only class, how we define class and what are the methods we defined. So constructor method and other methods we have defined. Yeah. So any questions on this? So that's it. I want to cover today for today. So again, you can just check it out. So it's simple bank account. So and then user will have multiple functionalities, which is we call it as methods. So every user will have all the methods, all the functionalities to be accessible. But users will be different. The objects what we create will be different, but the main the process of account creation will be same, but the values will be different. The user will have the all the functionalities what are defined in the blueprint. So here the class and account one is the object of the class, account two is the object of the class, bank account. So system stopping